back on our heels for a good portion of the first quarter, and I thought to start the second, beginning of the second, we closed the half out very well, and I thought we played good basketball, and then obviously decided just to sit Steven and Dennis and Paul. Felt like those guys had enough, and just based on 4 games. So went with some guys off the bench. I was a bit disappointed with our third quarter, just with the way we played. I didn't think that we played the way we're trying to play, never mind the pace and tempo, just the ball movement, the unselfishness. I thought we got caught taking a lot of really, really poor, ill-advised shots. And, we kind of had control of the game, let them back in the game. And then, I thought the guys that came in that fourth quarter to close the game really battled and fought, made some big plays on both ends of the floor. So we'll have enough to, I think, evaluate where we can improve, things we like that we're doing, and hopefully utilize those things we can get better.
Billy, the turnover difference in the first quarter and the second quarter was pretty stark. Was there a difference in the way that you were playing in the first and second quarters that allowed that to happen?
I mean, they move around a lot, and I do think at this time of year, you're getting accustomed and used to playing against teams, and there's an adjustment period. And I thought early in the game, like I said, we were back on our heels. I think once we started to understand the pace and the tempo, we did a good job actively using our hands in terms of deflections. I thought we switched at the appropriate time. When they did get the ball in the lane, I thought they had to take some tough shots. We contested better from the three-point line. All those things just got better, and I think that they had a better feel of what they were doing, how to guard some of that stuff. So that part of it was much better than it was to start the game.
Great. Billy, all camp you've been saying that the thing for Diallo is going to be his shooting and him improving his shooting. How's that progression gone during camp, and did you enjoy kind of the shots that he was getting tonight, or just the culmination of his improvement?
I think he's going to be a very good shooter. I think he needs rep, he needs time, but he doesn't need to feel like him shooting the basketball is getting him on the floor or taking him off the floor. It's his defense, it's his rebounding, it's his physicality, it's running the floor, it's finishing, it's making the right play and the right basketball decision. Tonight he happened to shoot the ball well, and he made some big shots, but he also took some shots that I think he probably would have liked to have had back. And I think he probably felt like there was some stuff around the rim that he missed that he felt like he probably normally could finish. So, he was really active today, did a really good job, on both ends of the floor. So I just think that if he's taking open shots, open threes, I'm comfortable with that. It's sometimes when he gets into areas where he's trying to take pull-up jumpers, or he's getting into the lane and he's not really at the rim, he's trying to create something. I think if he can eliminate some of those and get his passing into the game, because he's a very good passer, that's important.
Billy, it's really easy to look at how many it was 4 preseason games, so that sample's a little weird. He played some with starters though and played very well. How do you just evaluate how he looked? Because scoring-wise, he got a little better. Shooting the ball, he got a little better over the course of preseason. How do you just evaluate the way he played?
Well, I maybe look at it a little bit differently from a coach's perspective, because you're looking at a guy that, if he's on the floor and, Paul's out there with Russell, with Dennis Schroeder, and he, however the lineups are out there, but he's out there with our veteran players. We don't need that from him. We need him to make good decisions in terms of when to shoot, when to pass, when to drive. And I think that's the most difficult thing for a young player at any level, when they go from high school to college, college to this level. When do I shoot, when do I pass, when do I drive? And he's smart enough and bright enough and is absorbing a lot of that information. He's doing a very, very good job with it. So I know people look at, he got 13 here and he got this one. I'm not worried about that. I'm more concerned is how is he defending? What's his physicality blocking out? How tenaciously is he going after the ball on the backboard? How physical is he getting over screens? Is he sniffing things out before they're taking place to figure out what's coming? Is he in the right defensive position? Like those are the things that he's going to have to do over and over and over and over and over again. And it's less about his shot. We can do some things with him offensively to move him around. It's the same thing with Andre. There's at times where he's not shooting the ball, but we can move him around and get him to different spots of the floor and take advantage of what he does do well. And we can do the same thing for Hami. It's just a matter that he has got to make sure he continues to grow on the things that he's going to have to do during the entire, like, can he sprint back in transition? Can he get to the right spot? Can he communicate? Can he get matched up? When he hears pick and roll coverage, can he get into the right coverage? When we talk about, hey, this is what we want to take away on this particular player, can he go out? I believe he can. That's what I'm evaluating him on, not at all evaluating him on his offense.
Did he get better at that stuff from day one to now? Did he?
Oh yeah, because he's smart, and I think the more he sees things, the more comfortable he gets. And the other thing too is he's got great feet, he's got great strength, and he's physical, and he's not afraid of contact. Like, I think to be a great defender, and even a great offensive player, you have to be able to deal with physical contact and play through contact. He can play through screens, he can get over screens and back on the ball, he can really move his feet. He's a long guy to finish and shoot over, both at the basket and from behind the three-point line. He's smart in transition in terms of talking. I think when you're young and you're playing with guys that are veterans, you almost feel like sometimes maybe talking is telling them what to do, but he's getting a little bit more comfortable with calling out what's happening, what needs to take place, and understand that those veterans need communication from him so they can play off whatever he's calling. Just as when those veterans call things out to him, he's got to react and respond to those things.
Billy, all camp and after preseason, you guys have talked about trying to play faster, make quicker decisions. After 4 preseason games in camp, how do you assess the kind of the improvement of that, considering you've been out with the players?
I feel really, really good. And again, it got bogged down. We had a lot of different makeshift lines out there, starting the fourth quarter. I felt good about how quickly we got the ball out of the net and up the floor on misses and makes. I do think we need to continually, there's times we really cut and we move well in the half court, and there's other times where I think we get a little bogged down and we get stifled and we're not cutting and moving as hard as we need to. I think there's a balance there for us. Paul in particular is that he's got a rhythm going, he's got the ball. Like, there's going to be certain matchups that we want him to be aggressive and create and make things happen. Sometimes the ball can stop maybe in those situations, but it's in his hands. He's got that kind of ability to shift the defense and get somebody a shot, so you want him doing that. I just thought in that third quarter, to me, that was as poor of a quarter as we've played, to me, in the 4 preseason games. That was the poorest quarter, just in terms of, I didn't think that we offensively did anything remotely close to how we want to play. I thought we took a lot of non-paint twos. I thought we took shots on the break inside the three-point line. I didn't think that we drove the ball and reversed it and moved it. I thought we really, really settled. There was a lot of things that I don't think that we wanted. That's not how we want to play in that third quarter. And again, that fourth quarter, we had a lot of guys, that are on the roster here and playing in training camp, but those guys came in and tried to play the right way. I just thought it was the third quarter, to me, really from the beginning all the way through most of it. And maybe the third quarter we finished out a little bit better, but for the most part, it just that was not good, in my opinion.
Billy, on a personal level, what's it like for you to see the guys at the end of the roster there that have been grinding it out through camp, and Burton, get hot
I
here at the
felt,
end?
like last year I felt really bad for Bryce Alford because I don't think I was able to get him into a preseason game. I've been able to get him into a couple games. I mean, he's out there every single day. He's a great guy. He works hard. He's a total team guy. He's unselfish. I actually ran a play for him coming off the bench at the timeout when we threw him in there at the end when Cabarrot fouled out. And I said, listen, I know you don't need any reps warming up, so we're just going to run this. And we got him a 3, and he didn't make it, but you know what? Just the courage to shoot it. He made a couple big free throws late. He got the ball inbounded when we needed to get it inbounded. So I was happy that he could play. KJ McDaniel's the same thing. Him getting an opportunity. Abdul Gaddy. These guys are great, great guys that obviously fighting and scratching and trying to make a team, trying to make our team. But they're all got great respect for what they've done for our team in training camp and how all those guys have competed.
Warren, we got 2 more.
Billy, I spoke to Deontay Burton, and I asked him about his position and his size for his position and his physique, and he kind of joked and said, what position? So I just wanted to ask you about, what do you think about his willingness to play different positions and his ability to play the different positions, whether it be at the NBA level or the G League level?
He doesn't care. He's just a basketball player. Throw him out there. He can guard 4 different positions, and I think if he's going against the center, he'd get in there and he'd fight and he'd battle. He's physical. He's tough. He's got a competitiveness to him. He's not afraid. He's got a motor. I just think the biggest thing for him is he's got to, like, I think with what Hami's going through in terms of learning the things that I just spoke about with him, he's going through the same process too. I thought he played a great second half, more under control than he did the first half. Thought that first half was good for him, just the fact that he was trying to create and make things happen and be aggressive, but it really didn't work out well for him. He was aggressive in the second half in the right way. He was doing the right things when he needed to be aggressive. So he can play a lot of different play a lot of different spots. He can play the 2, he can play the 3, he can play the 4. He can play all over.
Billy said.
Yeah, understanding that what Hami does offensively is not that big a deal right now, but when he scores some points, when Alex scores 10 and a quarter the other night, when Timothy scores 10 tonight, what does that do to make your team just a much better, more explosive team?
Well, it definitely helps, but I think if you look at those guys scoring and how they got going and first started at the rim, you know, they had some good cuts to the rim. I made a couple offensive rebounds. Now Alex has done it by shooting the basketball, but he's also driven the ball in the Atlanta game. He got fouled, he got to the free throw line. So certainly you got to do it, but those guys can do it in different ways other than shooting the basketball. They can get out in transition, they can run the break, they get the ball advanced to them, they can grab an offensive rebound. Maybe the ball gets kicked to them and they make a shot, or there's a dump down pass on a cut and they make a layup. You know, those are all ways that they can score. I think sometimes people look at the scoring as the catching and the shooting, but there's other ways to generate points as it relates to their skill level.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.